All right, guys, welcome to episode 60 of Mark Anthony's Music Picks. Today I'm going to wrap up from a previous episode where I talked about Modern Love. As you know, Modern Love is a varied label that produces experimental music, abstract, I would say dub techno, and some minimal too. And in that last episode, episode 59, I talked about Modern Love's dub techno catalog. But today I want to go through some of my experimental picks. I will say that I'm not a huge fan of experimental in general. So for me to go out and buy something that is in the experimental genre, it really has to really kind of like get me. So today I'm just going to give you four picks from the Modern Love catalog that have aged well with me over the last, I would say, 10 years. The first one that I'm going to present to you is an artist, and I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, is Rainier Vale, or Rainier Vale. They're an experimental producer, like I said, and here we are with Modern Love again with the black and gray aesthetic, the very dull and drab aesthetic that basically fits the music perfectly. The track that I like on here is the first one. It's the A1, and it's called Sim Screen, and it's basically like a dramatic, almost cinematic song, or not even a song. I don't want to say it's a song. It's a track that has really punchy synths with a lot of reverb and a lot of tension. And it just really stands out in the Modern Love catalog as something that I can just kind of like drop the needle on and listen to. I don't know exactly what feeling it's trying to create. I just find that from a sonic perspective, it's just a very interesting production, and it's been something that I always gravitated towards since this came out. I think this came out a couple of years ago. And I always just, when I put this on, I drop Sim Screen and I end up going all the way through the rest of the album. So for 2x12, if you want to just get off the beaten path and experiment with something that's just a little bit abnormal and just get away from your normal house and techno type arrangements, this would be a good album to start with. So check this out. Next artist that I'm going to talk about is Demdike Stare, and I've talked about Demdike Stare in the last episode. Demdike Stare is Sean Canty and Miles Whitaker, aka MLZ. I reviewed an MLZ record in the last episode. And Demdike Stare is known for their very haunted, spooky, trying to like literally scare people music. When I think of Demdike Stare, they're basically like the equivalent of watching a scare horror movie on purpose just to scare yourself. And I think people get the same feeling. Like there's some people that just can't watch scary movies because it's just too much for them, and I totally get that. There's also some people that intentionally watch scary movies because they like how it makes them feel. So I picture Demdike Stare fans and them themselves being into the idea of trying to scare themselves as much as they possibly can with sound. If that makes any sense. I think that's what these guys are actually up to, and they make some really creative stuff. It's always percussion with reverb on it, and just something that would soundtrack a death sequence in a horror movie is the best way to describe it. This package here, I remember I talked to Miles about this over Discogs Messages back when it first came out. Let me make sure I get the right cover for you here, because I want to present this to you the way that it actually comes. So you get a gatefold, right? This is a 4-level gatefold, right? And you can, kind of flip through it like a book. And there's slots in here for all 4 records. There's 4 records in the set. There's an orange, there's a purple, I think it's called chrysanth or something like that. There's red, and then there's blue or iris. I might have said those colors out of order, but either way, I'll show them to you in a second. So there's 4 of them in the pack. The original pack, when you buy this, the original gatefold, it just comes with 2 of them. It comes with this orange one here, right, which is really nice. Like, I love this orange. And it comes with this one here, this purple. Okay, so those are in the original pack, and then to, like, satisfy your collection OCD, obviously you're not just gonna get two and not get the other two. So number 3 was this rose one, which is the one that I'm gonna review for you, and then there's this one here, which I think was called Iris. They're all really good and interesting. I will say you have to go and look at the run out groove on them to know which speed you're supposed to play which track at. Like, some of them are just like super weird, and honestly you could play them at 33 or 45, and I don't know, that it's kind of like it's in the eye of the beholder. It's whatever you want it to be. So don't feel like you have to play it at a certain speed. Like, if you like something slower, if you like it faster, then just play it that way. I think these are really meant to just be out of the box and whatever you want them to be. The interesting thing about these other sleeves that are here, these are all replicas of the sleeves that are in the gatefold, yet they don't fit into the gatefold. So you basically, if you want to use the gatefold, this original packaging, you have to take all the records out and just slide them in, because in here you get like little slots for each one. But with the doubled up inner sleeve, they're not both going to fit in there. The track that I like I said, is the red one on Rose. It's called Falling Off the Edge, and it's just a classic haunted, try to scare you out of your mind rhythm background music for a horror movie. And it's the one that really made me, I think, the most excited of anything that I listened to on that record. So out of all 4, Rose was the pick for me, but I do think it's worth listening to and having all of them, just because they're so creative and just unique in how they're put together. The next experimental record that I want to review for you is by this artist GH. Now, GH also has another album on Modern Love, and he makes experimental that I saw it was categorized. This is the Ground EP. I saw this was categorized as dub techno on Discogs. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, it does have a techno beat, but this is even slower than Andy Stott. I think this might actually be below 100 beats per minute. I didn't measure it, but man, is it slow. And the track that I like is GH Ground, the A1, just because it's just like a nice, I don't know, 8-10 minute thumper that just kind of rocks your speakers. So if you just want to listen to something weird that's got a lot of bass, a punchy kick, and some metallic effects that would make you feel like you were in an abandoned industrial complex, this would be the record for you. I think you have to be in a specific mood to, decide to put this kind of stuff on, but it does scratch the itch. And finally, my favorite experimental release of all time on Modern Love is Demdike Stare Again. And I think part of it is that it's got this kind of like Ouija board thing on here. I had a friend that had a Ouija board when I was growing up, and just looking at the thing used to scare the crap out of me. And she would always make up stories about, it moved. Oh, it moved on its own, and it kind of like, because I had this childhood fear of a Ouija board, this makes me a little bit more scared now, even as an adult. The track that I like on here, there's Dusk and Dawn. Dusk is about 15 minutes long, and Dawn is 10 minutes long. Dawn is the one that really gets me. It's got this. It's like I said, it's 10 minutes long, and somewhere in the midsection of it, it goes into this like voodoo, almost tribal percussion, and I love the drums, but man, is it scary. And if you really want to scare yourself, turn all the lights off in your room and watch the video that I'm going to post down below in the comments section, where you can see basically somebody's visualization of what they thought this track should be. And it's just absolutely, it's horrifying in my opinion. I mean, just sit there and see if you can just go through it by yourself with nobody else home, and light a couple candles in the room, and just see how you feel by the end of it. It's really tense. So that's all I have for today, guys. Just 4 picks. I hope you enjoyed the rest of these Modern Love representations that I brought for you today. To Modern Love, thank you so much for all this music. I always check out your guys' releases, and I'm looking forward to the next ones. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and take care. Peace.